Hi, in this video we're going to create and execute an Ansible playbook to register NSX Manager with vCenter. So this playbook will use a single task that uses the NSX DC registration module. And you can access the official documentation for that here in this link on the GitHub course if you'd like to learn more about that module. Now, before we create the playbook, let's look at it here and see what it does. So again, it's like all of our AnsibleNsx modules, we use a local connection with localhost, and that is because unlike typically with Ansible when we'll connect directly to the target host, in this case we're making all API connections to either NSX Manager or vCenter using the local API clients. And so from an Ansible perspective, we always will define localhost for these playbooks. And we can see in the NSX Manager DC registration task here that first thing it specifies is our NSX Manager spec, which has the username and password to log into NSX Manager. And once it does, it authenticates this vCenter user information, username and password. This is for NSX Manager to make a connection and to synchronize with vCenter. And so make sure whatever account you're using has the appropriate permissions. Another key point is that if you want to log into the vCenter web client, the vSphere web client, to make administrative changes, to configure your virtual networking environment with NSX, first time you log in after the complete installation, that includes both registering NSX Manager with vCenter and registering with a single sign-on service, right, before you actually log in. But this will be the account that you have to log into the vSphere web client in, because this is what we use to deploy NSX Manager, and initially after deployment, this will be the only account that you have permission to go in and edit NSX Manager settings in the vSphere web client with. And so we'll see that in the verification after we complete the SSO playbook. So, but for now, let's go ahead and create this playbook. So I'll go back to my terminal session here, and we'll create this playbook, register NSX vCenter.yaml. Hit enter, and I've created this already. I created it by copying and pasting, this information here into the playbook. And you can type it in. It's a good practice to type it in line by line. It definitely helps to remember these things, and it also helps when you type it in too, because I think it's important for this sometime to have errors. If you want to get used to these Ansible playbooks, as you've worked with Ansible before, I'm sure the YAML formatting, sometimes it can be very forgiving. It's definitely very easy to read, but it can be very brutal, right? So very often if you have to troubleshoot a playbook, in my experience, in most of the cases, it's because one of these indentations is just slightly off. And so for me, that is the most common thing I do when I'm troubleshooting my Ansible environments, is just messing around with this formatting. So definitely feel free to type it in, or if you like, copy and paste it. Once you're done, press escape, colon, make sure you can see the colon pop up down here, WQ to write and quit. And now that we've done that, we'll go ahead and execute this playbook. And Ansible playbook -I host register NSX vCenter.yaml, and I'll hit enter. Okay, and let's watch the play execute. This play should be pretty quick. It just has to enter the username and password information and then observe as it syncs. Now keep in mind this task will take a minute to run. We can see now it has finished. And by entering that debug statement in the playbook here, by having that statement there, that is why it gave us back this output. It still would have, like I said, saved this record in the environmental variable, but now we can see by using that debug, it allows us to see a little bit more detail about exactly what happened. Okay, now we'll go ahead and so we ran the playbook, we got the output. So let's go ahead and verify the results. And so let's go ahead and open back our RDP session. And I'm going to open up a web browser session to the NSX Manager itself. And using self-signed certificate, so we'll have to click Advanced and then Proceed. Use admin as the username here, and the standard VMware lab password. And we'll go to Manage vCenter Registration. And we can see here that the vCenter server says it's connected, and it has had successful inventory update. So now we know that our vCenter connection is done. Next, in the next section, we'll go ahead and hook up the SSO service, which we will see here. Thank you.